Under Bricks here, back with another city update. This city update is a flow on, so to speak, from my Waterfall update from last time. But now the Waterfall has been removed from the city, so I can get in and work on this top section. Now that is removable. We'll be taking that out shortly and I can show you. Now it is nowhere near complete. I've probably actually done a little bit more to it than what I should have before I filmed it to show you guys, but I want to show you how that's put together and my thought process with that before I continue on. But that's well and truly done. The design phase is complete. I just really need to dress it up now and finish it off. So we'll get into that shortly. So just taking a look at the city, and it's a complete mess. I've actually had a few little disasters. This section up here was a little bit too tight. Once I built that section up, before I could fit a base plate in there, wasn't a problem. But once I built it up, it actually got wedged in. So that the timber work must have been slightly in, and it got wedged in and I couldn't actually fit it in there. So I've had to take to it with a few different tools. I tried a few different things, and the whole city was getting a bit of a shake up. I was trying chisels and planes and all sorts of things to try and carve it back a little bit so I could fit it in. And in the end, the most disruptive thing to use for the city, but the messiest thing to use, was an electric plane. So yeah, I've had sawdust and crap everywhere. So the city has I've just shunted stuff everywhere, so it's quite a mess, especially if you look down this way. Just crap everywhere. So we're going to pull that river section out. I'm just going to wander around here so you can take a bit of a gander at the mess that is the Lego room. Now, we're going to pull that river section out. We're going to have a look at that. There is the waterfall sitting there. Nice and safe on the edge of the table, yeah. Yeah, we're going to pull that section out and I'm going to show you what I'm actually doing with it, and then I'm going to get it finished off. That's today's plan. The other thing I want to try and do today is, this is the old pond section from the old city. I want to pull this apart, so I want to strip that down so I can use the parts. I actually want to use the tiles off this on that river section that we're going to be working on today. So I've got to do that, and then once I get that sorted out, I actually can tidy this table up a little bit. I have the modulars sitting up here. It's just a pain in the ass to take them in and out of the city all the time, so I'm just leaving them here until I'm sort of ready to put them back into their final place. And here is the disaster that is the workbench, so I've got to get that tidied up a little bit before we get started today. But yeah, that's what we're going to have a look at, and the waterfall. So let's get on it. So as you've seen me do with the waterfall section, I'm using dark blue plates and blue plates underneath the trans light blue tiles to give that effect of depth, and especially in this bottom section I want this to look like a nice deep river flowing through. I was going to do the same thing on this top section, but then I kind of thought, being up high, you're not really going to really appreciate a lot of the details up there. So I figured that I'm just going to do this section all in blue before it gets to the rapids. And then I thought, well, what's a way I can cheat to use even less parts, or I can use a base plate. So instead of stepping up and then using all plates, I wanted to use this base plate. So I've come up with this really dodgy idea. And what it is, it's two base plates. So I've got a white one here, so it's nice and white on the edge, matches everything else with the rapids. And then it goes up onto this blue base plate. And the way I'm holding that all together and holding that steady is by supporting this with 2 bricks and 2 plates. Now 2 bricks, 2 plates and a base plate equals 3 bricks. So I've actually got, even though it's all mixed mash of plates and bricks, that is 3 bricks high. From that white plate there, that's 3 bricks high, and then I can put a plate here straight onto this base plate, and that is locking it all together. So yes, dodgy AF, I know, but once it's in place, you won't even know the difference, and it will serve its purpose, because I've got enough support in there where I can push all the tiles on. That's not a problem. That's only moving because it's on the train track. And so really the main problem I had here was coming up with how I was going to design these rapids as they fall down to the waterfall. Now, a lot more work needs to go into this, but I've finished the staging process, so to speak, of how it's going to come down over to the waterfall. So what I've used here, I've just stepped it up with bricks and plates. Everywhere there is a coloured brick, white, blue, whatever, I'm going to cover with clear. So you can see these row of clear plates sticking out over the edge. They are actually going to connect to the row of studs on the waterfall. So that's going to lock this to the waterfall. And then I've just got more clear plates, spit it out, more clear bricks, and I'm going to lay all plates all in here. So this is just everything that's on this front section here is going to be covered with either clear or light trans blue, and then I will layer it with studs, and I just think that helps with the overall effect, the water effect. Now you can see here I've just done a little section. You can see it's sort of starting to break away a little bit from the blue, some different colors in here. I've got white for foamy water, the blue continues a bit here. I've used whatever color that is, I can't remember what color that is. I've used a little bit of that here and there, just so when you see it from the front, just will contrast a little bit so it's not all white. And this section, even though it's higher than the river, the idea is the river's flowing, and here it's starting to hit some rocks and whatnot, and the turbulence is starting to bubble up, foam up as it comes over to the waterfall. So that's the effect. So I'm going to get in and try and dress all this up, tile all this, get it all looking good, run the rock work all down the sides. As for the rock work, this is really just for appearance sake on the front here, because I'm not sure exactly yet how this is going to marry up to the rock work on the waterfall that's coming up on the sides of the waterfall. So I'm just going to, once it's in place, I'm going to work out how to build up from that waterfall onto this rock work and merge it all into one. So I just want to put something there for now to get the right height. I will follow this through here, and all this section will all have to be done on the sides here. That won't change. The idea is to put rock work here, put some grey plates on top, so when it drops in on here, it'll sit over that edge. So I've got little strips of base plate I can put in there. It'll drop on there, it'll clip down, and that will be my pathway along here where you can look over the river. And what I'll probably eventually do is maybe a boardwalk along the side here. I'm not sure, because I want to put boardwalks down in this river section. So yeah, I don't know if I want to use the parts up here, but we can work that out down the track. But yeah, I'm just hoping that once this is all blended in, that effect's going to look a bit better than what it does now. Well, I'm just powering on here, and I thought I'd better grab the camera and show you where I'm up to before the whole thing's bloody finished. So rock work is done all down this side, plates put on top just to finish it off, so I think that's looking nice. Every plate or brick that's here has been covered with a clear plate or brick, so that's all ready to greeble off with studs. And you can see I've done a little section here, so there are the rapids, and I think once you add the studs to that, that starts to look really nice and give that nice rapid effect. So yeah, still looking like crap here, looking much better there. And if we look from above, you can see it's starting to blend back on this side. So I think that's overall going to be a fairly nice effect. I've tiled back to here and tiled down both sides, so all that just got to be filled in with tiles now. And I was looking at that thinking, is that going to be a little bit plain without different colours underneath to show depth. So I thought I'd chuck in a couple of little rocky outcrops. So I've just put those together and just tried that, and I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to leave those in there. So now I'm going to get back, finish this side of the rock work. So now I can pack up my rock work pieces off the desk and make a little bit more room. Then I'm going to greeble all this off with all the studs and get that finished. And then I'm going to go over onto that table, pull that pond that I showed you before, pull that apart, and then I can come back and tile all this off. Okay, so I've gone ahead and chucked it in place, and I think that is looking absolutely beautiful. I think that's going to be fantastic running down off onto the waterfall. So really happy with how the rapid effect turned out. So that's all in, ready to go. You can see down the side there, the plates they've put in, they're actually sitting off the timber there just slightly. That's the thickness of a base plate. So I'll run a strip of base plate down there, join it all up. The walkway, I'm going to have a city walkway coming right along the top here. And I don't know if I mentioned that rock work before. That's going to change a little bit on the sides there. It's going to come out and build around onto the rock work that runs along the side of the waterfall. And because it's going to build out a little bit, the walkway will come down. I might build out a viewing area so on both sides, so the minifigs can enjoy the sights of the waterfall. Now I said I was going to wrap it up after this, but I've got one more thing to show you. And whooshka! I've done a bit more on the waterfall. So because I'd finished that top section of the river, I was able to use what studs I had left into the waterfall. So I've filled out a little bit more. A bit hard to see. I have filled out a little bit more on the front of the waterfall. I've still got more to go in this section here, a bit more over here. I want to fill that in a bit more. So waiting for more studs, as I mentioned, and this bottom section needs a lot more definition in it. All I've done is I just managed to have enough studs to cover all the bricks. So that's all I was trying to do there, is just cover any plates or bricks that are there with studs, so at least you sort of can almost see what it's going to look like. And I redid the whole bottom section of the waterfall. I had it all tiled up and everything. I pulled it all out, pulled all the plates off, and did a lot more work because it was too short before. I had the white sort of finishing about back here somewhere, so I wanted to bring that out more because it's going to form a lot of turbulence at waterfall, so I needed it to come out quite a bit. So that's what I've done there. I think that gives it a better effect, and I've gone ahead and started to work on the next set of base plates. So right to where the tiles are, there's 2 studs past those blue tiles. That's where the plates finish. So there's 4 plates here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I've done is I've started on the next set of plates, and this is what's holding them together, this burp here. So if I take that burp off, I can remove these plates. So my plan is now is I can't really do the rock work until it's in place in the river, in the city. So what I can do though is I can work on these ones here and do the rock work here. So that's what I'm going to do next, because any sort of work like this I can get done while I'm sitting at the table. It's a lot more comfortable than leaning over the table in the city. And then once they're done and this all goes in the city, I can just drop the burps in place and do the rock work in front of these 2 sections, and that finishes that. And eventually the same thing will happen here. This will join on to the next section of the river, but before I get down this far, I'm going to have to pull the train bridge up and design a whole new bridge for that area. So, but that's something that's going to come down the line. So the next time you see a city update, this waterfall is going to be finished. I'm going to have it in the city, ready to go, and we're going to run those bloody lights, and I hope it all comes together, because it's been a hell of a lot of work. So yeah, so I hope you did enjoy this update. And again, apologies I haven't been able to get a bit further. I mean, I'm really stoked with how far I have managed to get. Really, I mean, it would have been great to have enough studs to finish off, but yeah, sometimes that's what happens, isn't it? When it comes to building, you never have enough parts. And I suppose one other thing is I've just started to build off the sides a little bit, so I've got platforms to work on. And as I mentioned before, how if we have a look here, where's my finger? This will come out a little bit and around and go back to where the path runs along the city. So this is where I can have my lookout area looking over the waterfall. Okay, well, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you got anything to say about what's going on here, please belt it down in the comments. We can have a bit of a chat about it. And yeah, that is it for this city update. Let's see if I can get one last big shot, sorry about that, of the waterfall like that. How's that? There we go. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.